Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello everybody, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for Albert. This is the Saturday morning version of Dr. Robotnik. I have not made this version of Dr. Robotnik since practically my first year, like the one where I made the head out of it was polymer clay. I wasn't even using epoxy back then. And I used the the cat figure as the base. So we're actually gonna be making this character again, which has been absent for such a long time. Now this is kind of a special case, as this is, I could say, another collaborative project. Albert sent me this. It was basically a custom that he got about halfway through, but then couldn't figure out how to finish it. So he asked if I could do it for him. From what he told me, this was originally a Kingpin figure from Marvel Legends, but I think the arms are from a different character, Thanos, I believe, something like that. Anyway, he kind of went overboard with the sculpting. He made the parts way too big, and it was kind of lumpy. He didn't smooth anything out. So here's a close-up showing the part of the sculpt that he made on the left half, and the whiter sculpt is the part that I made, trying to smooth it out. But ultimately, what I ended up having to do was just taking my Dremel and sanding off a huge part of this figure's surface to try and smooth it out. And I also reduced the shoulder pads that he sculpted. They were way too big, way too bulky, way too badly shaped. I gotta say, when I was finished sanding off all the excess material so I could smooth it down afterwards, it looked like it had snowed in the stairway. Either that or one of the dealers just dropped like an entire kilo bag of cocaine. Like, seriously. You gotta be careful with how much you sculpt, man. Don't go overboard. Anyway, once I was able to get off all the excess material, I used a very thin layer of my own to make the surface look a little bit smoother and clean up the shapes a little bit. So that's the secret to getting this torso to, look better. I did the same thing to the arms and legs, although they didn't require quite as much of removal material. The legs I sculpted onto the pant cuffs to make something resembling his boots from the cartoon. And his legs are somewhat proportionally longer, but, I didn't choose the base figure. I would have tried to... I had ideas of using Pete from Kingdom Hearts, the big Pete, the big dog guy. What? Pete's a dog, right? I think he's a dog. But yeah, the Kingdom Hearts version of him, I believe, would make a pretty good base toy, but that's for something in the future, because we're doing other stuff. For the arms, they're asymmetrical. One is his cybernetic arm, and the other is his organic arm, so they have different sculpts to them. But, once painted up, they have, that look. Again, I'm not sure whose arms these are, but I think they might be Thanos's. I really have no idea. I've forgotten. I'm pretty sure I was told, but I've forgotten. The head, which is something that he wasn't able to figure out at all, is a 3D print. The 3D model did have a mustache, but it was too thin to come out in the print, so I had to make a mustache myself using craft foam. Which is all just as well, because given the material, if I tried to print a mustache that thin, it probably would have just snapped off anyway. And then it's integrated onto the body using a little bit of epoxy on the back of the neck. He still has a little bit of head movement, but it's not like he can, turn his head all the way around. The shoulder pads kind of prevent that. And, well, that was kind of where this figure stood for the longest time. Because, hey, you know what? Do you want to know how you can make your custom take more than twice as long for me to do? Have it have some kind of soft goods to it, because I got held up on the cape. I was going to all kind of stores trying to find fabric that would work for this, and ultimately I realized, wait a minute, I work at a clothing store. I went back to the tailor shop and asked the tailor if they had any spare yellow fabric, and he did. The thing is, it had this really nice velour look, but it was one-sided. It was only yellow on one side and white on the other. So this is where I had to get my mom to help out because she's the one that knows how to sew. And I took two pieces of fabric sandwiched together, sewn on with a hem sewn on the edge to make a cape that's, yellow on both sides. So with that, it was just a quick little glue gunning to get it to stick onto his back. And we have the Saturday morning Dr. Robotnik figure in all of his glory. Now, like I said, this isn't the base figure I would have chosen, and if I did, I would have just kept the original arms, because these arms were not designed to fit in these shoulder sockets at all. They're just sort of, I did my best to modify the pegs to make them fit, but they really are just kind of jammed in there and they hold in with friction. You can pose him, of course, so that he can take on a stance, but if you actually try to play with him, they are just going to fall right the heck out. They are seriously not designed to stay in there. They'll stay in there for display purposes, but only display purposes. Also, this figure is huge. So here he is compared with one of my 4-inch Saturday morning Sonics, and you can see like he towers over him. This figure is a massive 8.5 inches. It's on par with the Adventures of Sonic Dr. Robotnik that I made for Zach. The one that I used the Jack figure for. So yeah, just throwing that out there. All right, so it is great to finally have this out of the way. It's kind of been sitting like so close to completion on my coffee table for such a long time, and it feels good to finally get this video out to you guys. So we're moving on so I can finish making these things so I can reopen commissions, hopefully by the second half of June. By the way, I am going on a vacation in the beginning of June, so I'm hoping to try and get these cleared out before I have to leave, because I don't want that to be hanging over my head as a project that I have to do, because it's gonna make me not enjoy my vacation so much. Anyway, this is Wake Angel 2001, and I'm gonna let Sonic sign us out like he always does.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001, because between you and me, they're way past cool.